Hi, I'm Captain Andrea.
And I'm Commander Matthew.
And welcome to TrekBack Tuesday.
This is the show on Nerd News Today that seeks out new toys and old merchandise from across the Star Trek universe.
And today we're looking at the profit-taking pirates of the universe, the Ferengi.
That's right. This is from Playmates from the distant year of 1992. This Ferengi right here was part of the launch line when Playmates first got the license for the Star Trek Next Generation action figures. So this is the same packaging we've seen across the entire series. Typical card. This is an unpunched card. So this is an extremely valuable figure that a Ferengi would definitely covet because it's mint condition.
Not anymore. Boys, not anymore.
There goes my cut of the latinum.
Really? Is the Ferengi really worth that much?
They had a lot of latinum.
So why don't we just take it?
You sure you're not part of the Terran Empire?
What? I don't know. No. I don't know what you're talking about.
The front of the box also gives us a nice window display into the figure itself, who, we were discussing this before, I kind of think it looks like Armin Shimmerman, who was one of the first actors to play a Ferengi.
And funnily enough, I actually think this looks a little bit more like Aaron Eisenberg, who played Nog in Deep Space Nine, which is odd because this came before Nog.
Yes, very odd. So, in reality, those figures actually, I think, based on someone else entirely. But on top of that is take a look at the back of the packaging here.
On the back of the packaging, you'll see the other 9 characters that are in this line. You'll see a description of the accessories that the Ferengi come with, and you'll see it also includes the Starfleet personnel file on the Ferengi, which doesn't have a lot of information because at that time there wasn't a lot known about the Ferengi. However, the Ferengi first appeared in Next Gen, Season 1, Episode 5, The Last Outpost.
Which is what led us here to thinking what this figure is actually based on is Tracy Walter from that episode, The Last Outpost, where he played the Ferengi named Kayron.
I think that's as good a deductive, conclusion that we could come up with.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah. We did a little research. Commander Matthew, prepare to beam the Ferengi out.
Hi, Captain. Ferengi is on the bridge, Captain, and I've sealed him temporarily in a containment field to make sure he doesn't get out and steal our stuff.
Good thinking, Commander.
So here's our Ferengi now out of the package, and you can see it is the Season 1 Ferengi, which had a really primitive look as opposed to how they look later on in like Deep Space Nine and in Voyager. Back then, they were kind of more feral, and overall, it didn't really work.
No, it really didn't.
But that does capture that time period of the Ferengi, which was very different. You can see here they're wearing furs. He's got really interesting pose as well, but that pose is interesting in a bad way.
Yes.
I think that's really the first thing we have to talk about is how awkward this is. So as we noted with a few other figures from this first series, a lot of those characters are standing in very weird stances.
Yes. And in this case, this Ferengi looks as though he's almost trying to push back. He's like, no, don't attack me.
It's a really dynamic pose. To be fair, it actually is a little bit better than some of the other weird ones, but it's still not great.
No.
He's balancing himself on really one foot. It does stand up relatively easier than the other figures have in this line, and he can stand up straight, but again, because his hands are in this really unique position too, it's like he can really only be doing one thing. I really like the paint application on this Ferengi. I like his furs, the different colors that are on his furs, different textures. The paint job on his face especially is really stellar.
Yeah, it's definitely expressive. I really like that. But one thing that I really like that they kept from this original version of the Ferengi versus, what they did later on did in DS9 is they kept the headpiece. I'm really glad they got rid of the tattoo. But I like that they kept this headpiece, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure if it's for practical reasons. I'm not sure if it's for religious stuff, in the Divine Treasury and whatnot. Yeah, I just like that they brought it over and they kept it going because I'm glad we lost the furs and got some of the more stylish, Quark and the Quark-like outfits.
Yeah, by DS9 they all got they became very profitable, let's just say.
Well, they were very profitable, but they became very fashionable.
Yes, they did, in their own special way.
Yes.
One thing that's odd about this figure, though, is some of the paint application that's not there. You'll notice by his boots, there's like a line on both of them, and also, it's a little hard to see from here, but you can see next to his head, it's like a piece that looks like it's unpainted that should have been black.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know why that was done. Obviously, cost-cutting was why it was done, but it always bothered me as a kid, and it still bothers me now how that one random part on his top and on his boots are missing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I could see that being a little frustrating.
I guess it saves money, but it's a weird way to save money in a weird place that's clearly visible.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a reason behind it. If anyone knows, again, as always, sound off in the comments.
Another thing that's really weird, and this is something we noticed with the other next-gen figures from Playmates in this first wave, is their stance. So this Ferengi is standing not so well. I mean, yes, he's balancing, but the way he's positioned, it's like you really can only get him in this position or variations of this position so you keep his legs how they are, because he's on like on the ball of his foot. This foot's flat, this one's not. So it kind of always has to be permanently bent. So it's a little bit weird. It's a little hard to keep him in other positions. Like once you get him in a pose, you kind of have to get him in that pose when it comes to his legs. And it's a little bit the same with his upper body too, because he's really meant to like be using one of his accessories, and kind of really it's all he can do. Like yes, he can do other things. He can hold his weapons, as we'll see, but it's a very particular pose. It's almost like it was meant just for this, and not really as much as for playability.
Yeah, I can definitely see what you're talking about. I wonder if we got him on his, as we segue into accessories, if we got him on his Ferengi action base, I wonder if that would help his pose at all.
I think it will. That is the one good thing about him in this base too, is that it is a little bit more square compared to the other bases. So unlike other characters, he should actually fit on it with no problems, which he does. He's actually on the base for a change.
Yeah, that looks better. That definitely looks better. He's still in a funky pose, but
it's like he's halfway dancing right now. Some kind of like weird. Yeah, exactly.
Like he's doing some flamenco dancing.
He's doing that weird dance that Nog did in the episode of DS9. You know, that one. You know.
No, he's like.
Yeah, that one. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, since we're talking accessories, let's show everyone some of the other fun stuff they come with. Comes with a Ferengi hand blaster that's already shooting.
Pew pew.
Pew pew pew. And I like the metallic blue plastic because given the neutrals in his outfit, this helps, it helps make it stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, it definitely does. And does he hold it? So the thing is that, yes, he can totally hold it. It just looks kind of weird because of his arm. I mean, it's like you have it like this, which looks, actually kind of cool. It's like Sam Jackson right there. It's like, what did you just say to me, mother? Okay.
Maybe not.
Or he holds it like this. I don't really think it looks too great in his hands, unfortunately.
It's okay. Well, how about his Ferengi rifle?
Which is really cool also. I love the shape of that. It's like a spaceship almost.
Yeah.
Like Micro Machines.
This is a really fun shape. Trying to figure out where the trigger is, though, is a little difficult. It doesn't really have...
I mean, neither does this, actually. There's no trigger on this either.
True, but that, at least you can come up... you can have a vague idea where that's going to be. This is just, it's something I can hold. Look at that. Now it's his handbag.
Let's see. So I think he can hold this one as well. That's not
going to look as good.
Not going to look good, but I think you can get him... no, not even. It's like, again, like one-handing it, which is not how that's going to be used.
You don't do that for a rifle.
No, and you can't really easily get it towards the other hand. I mean, I'm trying to think if I can position it like this, but you can't even have him hold it with both hands. So ultimately, it's not going to be used much.
Yeah. So he comes with... Again, we see dilithium crystals, which, I really like the dilithium crystals. Sure, he's going to try and trade them for some latinum, gold-pressed latinum, sorry. But, again, I love that this is a nice bright red. It's translucent, and it's a good contrast for the... I like the nice bright red. It's, it's translucent. It's a good contrast between the neutrals and, the very matte neutral colors of his outfit.
So we also saw the same dilithium crystal mold used in the Geordi LaForge figure, except he had a blue version. And so I don't think those dilithium crystals showed up much in other toys beyond this. There's very few that continue to use it again. I can think of like maybe one other off the top of my head. Beyond that, I don't think there was a lot of it.
Okay.
Yeah, oddly enough. And I like that accessory a lot.
I do too. I think it's a great accessory. It's an odd choice, I think, for the Ferengi, but I'm okay with it.
I like it.
I like it a lot too, which is why I'm okay with it. But finally, I saved the best for last. This Ferengi comes with an energy whip.
An energy whip?
An energy whip. Sorry. An energy whip? I think that's really what his pose is all about, because if you get him in the right thing, it looks like he's about to throw that whip.
Pretty much. I mean, that's really what it's made for. That's the only purpose this pose has, is to be able to hold that energy whip. So the energy whip is one of those remnants of those first season Ferengis, and just the next gen Ferengis, as we'll say, because they lost the energy whips pretty quickly after that.
That would have been an interesting thing to keep, though.
Yeah, but I guess they went to a different direction with the Ferengis as a whole, so they got rid of the whips. And
no, absolutely, I'm okay with that. I mean, they even changed up the blasters, and I don't know, I kind of like the whip. It would have been fun to hold on to. Used for very special... Oh my gosh! It would have been so cool to have that assassin. There was the Ferengi for hire.
From the Magnificent Ferengi?
Yeah, that one. Or Mirrorverse Brunt, those would have been the best times to pull out that whip.
Well, maybe someone out there will eventually work on a DS9 project and they'll get to put whips in the Ferengi's hands once again.
I'm all for it.
I'm into that thing. The old kinky Ferengis.
Let's not call him that. Let's not call him that.
Okay. So overall, this Ferengi, despite its weird stance and its inability to hold some of his accessories effectively, I actually like this figure a lot.
It's an interesting figure. I like it too. It's very expressive, and I like that a lot too.
That's one of the things I think I liked about it. Even though its playability in some ways is extremely limited, I just kind of like its. I do like its stance. So I do like what it's doing.
I like that.
That actually works for me.
Once it has the whip in his hand, I like it a lot more too.
Everything else is pointless, but the whip, you got yourself a nice, brutal jerk Ferengi.
When aren't they jerks? When aren't they jerks?
Yeah, true.
And on that note, I'm Captain Andrea.
And I'm Commander Matthew. Thanks for watching this episode of TrekBack Tuesday. And until next time, live long and buy toys.